Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone from the UK. Welcome to join us today. Thank you very much for joining us in our 1-hour session today to talk about the new registration regulations with the GACC. My name is Ran. I am the Assistant Director for Agriculture, Food and Drink sector for CBBC. Many of you would already know me. But for those that are new to CBBC, welcome. So joining me today, we have Lenny from our partner agency, Camlink. And then we should also have Sunwei, a colleague from our market access team at the British Embassy in Beijing. Sunwei will join us just in a second. Okay, so let me without further delay, let me share my screen and share my presentation. Right. So many of you will be aware that from April, GACC has released a new set of regulations to be implemented from January 1st next year. That will largely affect all the manufacturers and manufacturers that export to China. This has somehow created a lot of concerns and raised a lot of questions from among all of us. So hopefully today's session, we will try to explain the new regulations and to walk you through the new requirements and hopefully make the whole process easier for all of us. So I will start by sharing my my presentation on this new regulation. Okay, but first of all, who knows that are not yet CBBC members? Just a brief introduction on CBBC and what we do. So CBBC, China Britain Business Council, we are UK's national business network promoting trade and investment with China. We've been in China for over 65 years, and we are a non-for-profit membership organization with over 400 members that conduct business with China. So our mission is to grow trade and investment relations with China, acting always in the best interest of our members and more broadly UK businesses in general in China. For over 65 years, we are the independent voice of businesses, and we have provided high quality advice, analysis, advocacy, and access to help companies seize the China opportunity. And this is just some examples of what we have produced in terms of food and drink sector insights. So we have produced regulation guides and insights and digital audit and e-analytics, master classes, consumer research projects, and quarterly sector newsletter called China Hot Pot. So all of these will be available on our website. If you go to our sector page, you'll be able to download a lot of the reports and insights for free. So for those businesses that are already in China, we also provide in-market support, including support over trade fairs, and we organize Meet the Buyer events. We have our own branded Great British Brands Festival, GBBF events, and we organize British Heritage workshops. We also provide launchpad services in our offices and China Navigators service for companies that need some extra capacity in China. So on this new GACC requirement, first I want to start with talking about this evolution of registration requirements from Chinese government. So this new registration for overseas manufacturers is actually not new. There has always been a process in place for overseas manufacturers and exporters to register themselves with GACC or with the Chinese government. This is something that has always been in place. And over the years, we have provided services to UK businesses to register the companies with the Chinese government. So here, what I have the screenshots is some example of the current registration system that is in place for overseas exporters and manufacturers to register with the government. But compared with the new GACC regulation or the new single window, the previous or the current system is much more simple. As you can see on the right side, this picture this is a one-page registration page only for overseas manufacturers that are not in the so-called high-risk categories, including meat and dairy and bird nest. So for all the other manufacturers, the system used to be quite simple. And the portal is this ire.customs.gov.cn. So in 2018, the previous agency or government authority that used to oversee the registration system, called AQSIQ, was dismissed and merged into two departments: the State Administration for Government Regulation, the SAMR, and the General Administration of Customs, what we usually refer to as GACC. So since GACC has taken over the responsibility, largely the goal has become to improve traceability and food safety for imported food and drink items. This is the general background of this new Decree 248. So raised by GACC in April this year, Decree 248 is to be implemented from January 1st, 2022. It ultimately requires all overseas manufacturers, processors, and storage companies that export food and drink products to be registered with GACC. So traditionally, manufacturers of high-risk categories need to be registered with GACC through the country's local authority, or in our case, it will be DEFRA in the UK, in a collective manner. But after this new regulation, the below categories, including these 14 new categories listed and highlighted below, will also need to go through the central collective registration process. That means if you're a business that manufacture and store products listed in the highlighted 14 categories, and if you export to China, now you will need to go through a central process to be registered with the GACC. But for companies within the above 14 categories, there is a fast-track approval process available. If your establishment processes or stores products listed in these 14 categories, please contact DEFRA before December 17th to be qualified for the fast-track approval process. So I have here the contact email address for DEFRA. But don't worry, we will share all the presentations today with you, so you'll have a record of all. And if your business is not within the 14 categories highlighted previously, and if you're not doing the other 4 categories, including dairy and seafood and bird nest, so if you're not within these 18 categories, you do not need to go through DEFRA, and you do not need to go through that central application process. You can register on your own or through your importer or through an agency in China with the GACC. So this is through the single window, and this can be done on your own. So I've listed here a screenshot of the single window, and here you can see is the China Import Food Enterprise Registration. That's basically the portal where you go in to file your registration. At the moment, everything here is unfortunately in Chinese, but we do hope and expect this GACC will come up with the English interface. So your company will need to create your own account and fill out a series of forms to register. And you need to register your company, and you also need to register all the products that you currently export to China or you expect to export to China in the near future. There will be a series of questions that you will need to answer and the forms you need to fill out. And these would also include, you know, your ingredients of each product and the factories you work with, the raw material supplier you use. So this form, we have prepared a form that will include all the questions that GACC will ask you during this process. And afterwards, once you successfully register with the GACC through a single window, you will be given a GACC registration number. And what do you use? Why do you need that number? What do you use it for? So this has something to do with the other decree, Decree 249 that came together with Decree 248. It came up with more requirements on the labeling side. For example, for meat and aquatic products, you will need to list a lot more information on your outer and inner packaging. I will not go to detail. As I said, we'll be sharing this presentation with you. And for health food and foods for special dietary use, the new regulation requires that your Chinese label, together with your registration number, must be printed on the smallest packaging unit for sale. So you can no longer apply a sticker on the packaging. All this information must be printed directly on the packaging. And in the previous slide, we mentioned about a GACC registration number you'll be given. That registration number will also need to be applied to your smallest packaging unit for sale. And that's for all the food and drink products. So all the above procedures and requirements will be for manufacturers. How about exporters? A lot of you joining us today will be exporters or wholesalers or trading companies. You don't necessarily manufacture the products yourself. The purpose of the new regulation is to improve food safety for imported food and drink products and to improve traceability. So exporters have not been yet required by GACC to register. So therefore, new exporters can continue to register using the current simple version of filing system with the GACC. You do not need to go through this manufacturer registration. And as I said, the current interface, the system is in Chinese, but if you do require any assistance, we do offer services for members and non-member companies. For CBBC members, we offer a registration service at a discounted price. Please contact myself or my counterpart in the UK, Antoinetta Becker, for more information. And we continue to provide service for new exporters to be filed with GACC. So that's available from us. But for now, non-CBBC members, we will recommend that you talk to our partners at Camlink, who offer a manufacturer registration as well. So Lenny soon will share her contact information and will give you more details on this. I will now stop sharing my screen and give the floor to Lenny to talk about how you register by yourself on the new GACC portal. So Lenny, if you could share your screen.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to share my screen now. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Okay, so then please help me to share my PowerPoint.
Will do. 1 second. Okay, can everyone see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll begin my presentation now. Hello, everyone. This is Lenny from Camlink. Nice to meet you. In the following time, I will help you figure out how to get food manufacturers registered on the new GACC requirements. If you are producing foods other than the 18 categories. Okay, before we get started, please allow me to spare 30 seconds to introduce what Camlink is and what we provide, since some of you may be not very familiar with Camlink. Camlink is an information platform which belongs to Reach24H Consulting Group for global food manufacturers. Relying on our own technical advantages and resources, we provide one-stop importing services for overseas enterprises, such as regulation monitoring, market research, training, product registration and filing, ingredient review, regulation translation, consultation, etc. We also provide the service of GACC manufacturer registration for clients. Basically, if you are trading food products to China, we can help solve most of your problems, even helping you open CBEC stores in China. Okay, next. Now let's get back to our topic today. The speech part will be divided into 3 parts. In part 1, I'll explain the application scope and the registration procedures for those who needed to apply for the registration by themselves. And also I will put the screenshots of the registration system so you can take an overview about the information that you need to deal with. And in part 2, after you submitting the application, I listed some steps that you should pay attention to. And finally, I'll also mention some requirements other than the manufacturer registration regulation. Now let's begin. So how to apply for the GACC registration approval? First, you need to confirm your food category and the corresponding registration method. This regulation, Decree 248, introduced the principle of risk management and divided the registration into 2 types. Based on the risk analysis of ingredient source, etc., foods are now classified into 2 types, and the enterprises need to submit the application through corresponding supervision methods. If your products belong to the 18 categories listed in the left column, like meat, aquatic, dairy products, edible cereals, seasonings, special dietary foods, and house foods, then you need to submit materials to your competent authority, and then the competent authority in your country will recommend you to China's customs to finish the registration. If your products does not belong to these 18 food category, this one. If your products does not belong to these 18 food categories, then you need to submit applications directly to China's GACC authority by yourself. Products under this type include grain products, tea, nuts and seeds products, alcoholic drink, beverage, biscuit, sugars including lactose, candy, chocolate, etc. And in this part, we have to mention that the content of this table may be adjusted by the GACC authority based on the risk analysis of ingredient source, etc. And the special dietary foods here refers to products like infant formula, complementary foods for infants and young children, and foods for special medical purpose, and others like sports nutrition food, complementary nutritional supplements, etc. Now let's see the registration procedures of this type. Except for the 18 food categories, manufacturers producing other food categories can submit the application to China's GACC authority directly by themselves or by their agent. China also launched the Import Enterprise Registration Platform on November 1st this year. I will introduce this platform later. And here are the materials you need to prepare: application form, identify, certificate, and a commitment declaration that your company meet the requirements in this regulation. And GACC also has released a template of this application form. You can check the guideline link to download the application form. And once GACC approved your application, you can check it by yourself in the registration system. We will mention this later. And here I also want to emphasize one thing. If you choose to register the manufacturer by agent, For example, if you entrusted our company as the agent to apply for the registration on your behalf, then apart from the needed documents, overseas manufacturers should also provide a power of attorney, items like the basic information of the principal and agent, and also the starting date and the expiration date should be clarified in this power of attorney. And next, this is the entrance of this import food enterprise registration platform. I put 2 links here. Both of them can get access to the platform. And click the Camlink news here. You can read a step-by-step guideline for registration. Basically, you need to got an account for this single window website first, and then to log in this platform and choose the food categories you want to export, and then to fill in necessary information, and you can submit the application for GACC review. Let's take a closer look of this system. After you log into this platform, click this button, which means apply for the registration, and you can see a list of food categories. On the top of it, it listed 18 food categories that are recommended by overseas competent authorities. And the GACC has not released the English version yet. I use the Google translation to translate the Chinese into English, but I assume the English site will launch soon. And then keep going down to the bottom of this page, you will see the categories on the individual registration. I pasted a screenshot here. You can see products such as vegetable products, cereal products, tea, nuts and seeds, alcoholic drinks, beverage, biscuit, sugar including lactose, etc. And after clicking the name of each category, you can also see the subcategories. Take alcoholic drink as an example. You can see fermented alcoholic drink, distilled alcoholic drink, and others. And choose the category you want to register. Click the category and you will move to the next page. Okay, next. And many of you may not know which food category you belong to, and you may also not sure if the registration needed to be recommended by your competent authority or submit by yourself. So this is the new function which can help you to find the food categories. It is the function launched last week, and you now can check this page to see which category your product belongs to. This function is very useful. Just import your FSS code, click search, and you can see the category you belong to and the corresponding registration method. Okay, next, let's get back to the previous slides we are talking about. After you ensure the food category and click the corresponding subcategory, the page will jump to this registration page. In this page, you can see the registration information related to 4 parts, and the prices information, information related to the production, company statement, and the page where you can submit attachments. Let's see the enterprise information first. You need to fill in the country you are located in, the registration number you got from the exporting country, the enterprise name, manufacturer address, etc. And some don't know what the registration number refers to. It is very different from different countries. You can confirm it with your competent authority. And also, if you got the registration number and the valid period will be shown here. Later, I'll introduce another method for you to check the approved Chinese registration number. Okay, next, going down of this page, you can see this content. You need to submit the identify certificate of the enterprise and add the products that you want to register, and also describe the exporting trade history within 2 years. Here, I want to emphasize this registration of this platform is not a one-time thing. You can see you need to add products here. So every time, if next time you want to export new products to China, then you also need to log in this platform and add new products here. And many have asked if there is a FSS code list besides the new function of the system, which I introduced just now. You can also find the FSS code here. Click the button of add new products and it will go to this page. And here you can choose your manufacturer type, the FSS code of your product, product brand, production or processing capacity designed annually, and also the actual production or processing capacity. Okay, so next, After clicking the HS code column, you can see the HS code under this category. As you can see here, these are part of the HS code on the fermented aquatic drink. You can log in this system and try your own food category. And after finishing this part, you can click Save and move to the next page. And this is the page related to production. You can fill in the ingredient information, added the enterprises related to your company, and also fill in the information related to the water you use for production and processing. It is said the ingredient part will become an optional item later. So if your ingredients contain too many ingredients, you can skip this step, but we advise you to submit more information as possible for the faster review. And for ensured information, please wait for GACC's further implementation rules. And also you need to fill in the processing technique of your products, the information related to your staff, and then you will go to the third page about the manufacturer statement. You can click this link to download the manufacturer statement, sign the document and the seal, and then upload the scanning copy. The content of this enterprise statement is simple, just to make a commitment. The translated version is for you to understand the content of the statement. This is the English version. Okay, next. The last page is about attachment. In this page, you need to upload the manufacturing license certificate released by the overseas competent authority, the photo of your products that you want to sell to China, and the enterprise statement we mentioned just now. And at present, this platform only supports Chinese. So for enterprises that have language problems, you may contact your importers for help, or you can entrust the agent to help you finish this registration. Okay, next, if you want to check the approved registration number by GACC, except for the method I showed you previously, you can also find the answer in this page. Click the integrated query here, and then click application form query, and then choose the application type you want to check. If your application is approved, then the registration number will be shown here. As far as I know, the approved registration number consists of 2 parts, 4 letters and 14 numbers. Okay, next. Then what will happen after submitting the application? After submitting the application, GACC will conduct the review. They may choose a single form or a combination form of document review, video inspection, and on-site inspection. The adopted method will be determined based on food risks, etc. And I assume most of your products will be reviewed by document review method, since these food categories are low-risk foods compared to the 18 food categories. But of course, GACC has the GACC are able to use any of these method whenever they think is necessary. And once the manufacturer passed the registration, GACC will release the Chinese registration number and notify the applicants. And after you got this registration number, then you can label it on the inner and the outer packaging of foods. At last, GACC will also conduct the re-examination to ensure the compliance. And here, many of you are confused of labeling the registration number on product packaging. Let's see the details. Okay, first let's see the article raised in Decree 248. This is the legal basis. You need to label registration number on the package. The registration number can be the one you get from China's customs or the one you get from the competent authority of the exporting country. But from a long-term perspective, GACC suggests you to label the Chinese one as disclosed in the implementation document released this month. So must the registration number be printed on the package, or are stickers allowed? According to the article, we think stickers are allowed because according to this article, it is that enterprises should mark the registration number, not print the registration number. But if GACC released the detailed explanations, please follow that as the legal basis. And the interpretation also gives the definition of outer and inner packaging mentioned in this article. It is that the inner and the outer packaging refers to transport packaging and the sales unit. So suppose you are an enterprise that sells tea products to China. We may find there is a product box which contains many individual small packages. The small packages here, let's call it tea bags. Now, how to label the product if the box is sold as the minimal sales unit? Okay, next. Okay, in this situation, is if the product box is for sale, while the tea bag cannot be sold separately, first, the transport packaging like cartons need to label the registration number. And second, the minimal sales unit, which is the product box, need to label the registration number as well, but it is no need to label the registration number on the tea bag, which cannot be sold separately. Okay, click the slide. The previous one, and also the previous one. Okay, this one. If both the product box and the tea bag are designed for sales, then the tea bag needs to label the registration number. As for the box, according to GB 7718, the labeling requirements for prepackaged food, if the packaging is transparent, then no need to label the registration number on the box. The labeling is only required on the tea bag. If the packaging is not transparent, it is necessary to label the registration number. Hope this case helps solve your questions about labeling. And for the implementation date of this labeling of registration number, I heard it is the products manufactured after January 1st needed to follow this labeling, but you still need to got the Chinese registration number before January 1st, 2022. If you failed to obtain this registration number, it will affect the importation of your products which are produced before January 1st, but imported to China after January 1st. Okay, next. If you need to alter or renew the registration, the needed documents for alteration and the renewal are listed here. And the Decree 248 also specifies the situation of supervision and the suspension and the withdrawal. I will skip this slide and you can read the details after this webinar. And all of these contents you can find in Decree 248. And finally, I'd like to explain the duties of manufacturer as the summary of this part. For manufacturers, you need to get the GACC registration approval. To obtain this goal, you need to establish an effective food safety and sanitation system and protection system, as well as meeting regulations in China. And besides, as an applicant for this manufacturer registration, manufacturers should also be accountable for the truthfulness, completeness, and the legality of the submitted materials. Okay, at last, there are some reminders for you. The GACC Decree 249, this one will also come into effect on January 1st, 2022. Ran has already mentioned the labeling part, and I will emphasize the requirements related to the food safety management system inspection. This one, you can find the requirements related to this one from Article 12 to 16. When manufacturers want to sell a new food product to China, then this inspection of food safety management system will, which means the national level review in exporting country will become very necessary. And China will review 10 items of the exporting country. First, the regulations related to food safety and the inspection and the quality requirements of animals, plants, and their products. And the second, China will confirm the authority which is in charge of the food safety in exporting country. And third, the epidemic situation in exporting country and also the prevention and control measures that are adopted in countries. And for the other items, you can check the article 12 to 16 to find more details if you are interested. Okay, next, this is the end of my speech part. Hope I have clarified clearly about the situation related to the GACC manufacturer registration. And thank you for listening. If you have further questions related to this webinar, please email us. Our address is contact@camlink.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lenny. So don't go away. We will open the floor to Q&A. Now I think we have Sun Wei is online, right? I will just I'll just finish off my part of the presentation to give us a overview of events coming up. Then I will open the floor for Q&A. So what do we have coming up very soon within this year and early next year? So we have a China Food and Drink Forum on January 20th. This is an online event. It's a half-day roundtable session. So we'll be talking about the latest insights on China's food and drink market today, as well as some of the key subsector opportunities for British exporters. So do join us. We're going to cover subsectors including dairy, snacks, spirits, snacks. And all of this will be on our website. So do take a look at our sector page on the website. And we are offering consumer master classes in the UK and offline in London in February and March next year. So on February 17th, we'll be having a food and drink master class. And on February 24th and March 3rd, we'll have a retail and e-commerce master class also in London offline. So hopefully these master classes will give you a general picture and of the latest trends in China's food and drink and retail market spaces. So do stay tuned for those. And for those companies that are based in the north, we do have masterclass coming up in Edinburgh in Scotland. That will be on February 9th. So all of these, again, will be on our sector page. So please feel free to take a look. And if you need to contact us, many of you will know us already. Please feel free to reach out to me or Antoinetta. So I will stop sharing my screen now and open the floor for Q&A. I'm sure we have a lot of questions. Okay, so we have some questions in the question box, and let me see. Okay, let me read this question from Emily. So we have been advised you do not need to register every product or every SKU, but only the production site. Has this advice now changed? Sun Wei, do you think you want to answer that?
So I think when you are registering using the Cipher system, you will have option to register your each different SKUs. Ideally, you want to input all your SKUs there, but if it's too much of a hassle, then maybe you don't need to do all of them because it's optional. The compulsory thing is to register your establishment.
All right, thank you. I think I have a similar question here. Do you have to register every specific SKU exporting to China or the general product type? For example, Scotch whiskey, do you have to register every version of the product, including limited editions? Lenny, any thoughts on that?
I think if you done it perfectly, then you can submit the information of your products with different formula. So this is my answer. But if you are in a hurry to get of this registration number, then you can first register some of your key products first.
Right, just to confirm, once the company has registered there will be one number given to that company, not there wouldn't be a number for every single product. So what's going to be on the packaging will be that one number for that one company. Is that true?
As far as I heard at present, I think, for example, if your manufacturer produces products like dairy products and also biscuits, then you will have two numbers, not one. And this is what I heard. I'm not sure. How about Mr. Sun? Do you know any news here?
My understanding is that at the moment, the dairy establishments are using the UK FSS Code, but in future, GACC might replace that with the Chinese registration number. But I don't think these two numbers will coexist. That's my understanding, though.
Right. So I hope that answered the question. So in theory, we do hope that every product should be registered under your company with GACC. But if you have, like, for example, 100 different products you export to China and you're in a hurry to get a number to be printed or labeled on your packaging, you know, maybe the fast way is to get a registration number first, and then you can add the other SKUs to your registration. So I hope that makes sense. Let me read another one. Hi, oh, that question just escaped me. Hi, is there any guidance on how to display the registration number? Can they be included on the Chinese label, or I think Alex is referring to the sticker, affixed to the products before import, or should they be separate label just showing the registration number? Lenny, this one, can you pick up?
Okay, at present, there is no guidance related to how to labeling this registration number, and based on our compliance experience before, we think you can label the registration number together with the Chinese white label affixed to the products.
Right, so I think this could probably answer the next question, which is to confirm the labeling of the registration must be done in the UK prior to shipping out to China. So at the moment, you can still do this in China. You can print out this number on your Chinese sticker and apply that sticker once the products arrive in China. But that might change because we know the ultimate goal from GACC is to have no extra label affixed to the products once they are in China. So this might gradually change, but at the moment, your importers can still help you apply the stickers. Let me read another one. What is the expected lead time from application completion submission by the manufacturer and actually getting approval and then getting the number? Lenny, any opinions on that?
About the time, based on the pictures. If you are talking about the products other than the 18 food categories, at present, as far as I know, some manufacturers have already got the registration number, and the average time is about 7 to 10 work days, but this is not for quite sure, because after the approval of that batch of enterprises, and we didn't see any updates about the new enterprises who got this registration number. So, but I think the GACC authority will speed up the review in December. And for some enterprises, if you are producing the 18 food categories, which means some of you may have already asked your competent authorities to submit your materials to the GACC authority before October 31st. And this batch of enterprises, we expect the information will also be released soon in December.
Thank you, Lenny. And then I think the next question is for you, Sunwei. Can you register different trading companies and products at the same manufacturing address? So if you have, for example, 2 companies registered at the same manufacturing address, how do you do that? Or if in some cases we know there's companies with different trading names.
So do these companies with different trading names share the same approval code, like a register number?
Yeah, so if that's the case, what do they do?
So ideally, they should register their actual name in the company house document, because they need to submit that as a compulsory attachment when they are doing the cipher registration. So ideally, the name they input for company name, it should be in line with this attachment.
Right. Okay. So to go with the registration name registered at the company house.
Yeah, ideally, yeah. If they definitely want to use their trading name instead, I think that should also be fine. But there might be some risk to that, because sometimes customs officials at borders are not so flexible if they see the difference in the system and the different name in the paperwork. They might be confused. So try to avoid use different name if possible.
Right. Okay, so if your company has 2 trading names, and then under each trading names there are product lines, so they're exporting products from both trading names, do you suggest that they register both, so then they can still export products under different trading names?
I think trading name is maybe similar to SKU. You can input when you input your SKU, then you can input your trading name as brand name, something like that.
Okay, so
for the different SKU, maybe that way you don't have to apply for registration twice or more than twice, because I'm not sure if GACC will approve your second application if the registration number is the same, even though you are using different names.
right. Okay, I think yeah. So focus less on the trading names and more on the registration name and number and your products. So okay, yeah. We have. I think I will just give this question to you again from Monica. Does the registration number need to show on any export documentation, please, other than just on the packaging? Do you know some way?
So sorry, what's the question again?
Does this registration number from GACC need to be shown on any export documentation, any export papers?
At the moment, I think things goes as usual, and also GACC Decree 248, they didn't mention what's the changes to the export documentations regarding the registration number. I think things can carry on as usual.
Can I supplement this question? I don't know the requirements related to the export document, but we got the news that if you when you import the products to China, and the importers will make the declaration, right? So the registration number will be used in that step.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Lenny. Hope this is clear. Wei, this question is for you. What is the recommendation registration process for the 18 special foods? I think this person is talking about products in the 18 categories. What's the process?
Okay, so I think before end of the year, you can still, if you have exported your products within last 5 years and your products are within these 18 categories, you can still send Annex 2 to DEFRA. There's a designated DEFRA mailbox, and try to register with this fast track route. After end of this year, this fast track route will not be viable, and you would have to apply to regular registration channels via the UK competent authorities. And at that point, I think you will have to fill in some forms designed by GACC and some checklists to fill in, and then the UK competent authorities will submit your dossiers to GACC on behalf of your company.
Thank you, Sun Wei. What's the timeline for the fast track and the regular process for that?
Yeah, I understand that the fast track process will be reopened by DEFRA for another month or so until maybe until mid-December or something like that. So the company can still use that or take that opportunity. But if you miss that window, then I think you have to go through the formal GACC registration procedures for these 18 types of products.
Right. Okay. How long does it take, the process, if a company go through fast track to get their registration done?
Actually, we don't know, because last time we submitted the fast track annex to GACC, we haven't heard back from them, and we haven't seen any companies listed yet. So I imagine if you submit in December or now, it should take even longer. So at the moment, we are waiting for GACC to register the first batch of fast track companies.
Okay, so we're still waiting, right? Next question, not sure if Lenny or Sun Wei, but the question is, how would GACC be notifying changes of FSA and FSS codes in the future, if ever amended by them? Sun Wei.
Lenny first.
Lenny first. Lady first.
I don't know what's the FSA or FSS code. Are they the numbers given by your country?
Okay, yeah. So can we please, if you could just add to this question, then we'll pick up this later. So let's see if we have any other.
So I think FSA stands for Food Standards Agency, and the FSS stands for Food Standards Scotland. So they are the UK competent authority for food safety control. So my answer to that question is that we don't know if and when GACC will replace those codes, but we understand that GACC prefer to use their own codes for the China registration. So maybe at one point in future, they will provide Chinese registration codes for these meat, dairy, and.
Thank you, Sun Wei. We have this question from Jonathan. Does the requirement to print the manufacturer's registration on the pack and case is it for dairy products as well? Yeah. So quick answer is yes. So it's applicable for everyone, including dairy products. But if you have exported dairy products to China, your plants, the factory should be already registered with the GACC. So you're already covered. You're the traditional 4 categories. So you are not as much affected by this new rule. So do not worry, your registration is still valid. Do you have to label in the UK? Okay, I think we covered this already. We are exporters of branded beers, and spirits from the UK buying from wholesalers and exporting to China, do we need to register? So if you are exporters, you're not the manufacturers, you do not have to register, but then the products exported to China will still need to be registered with the GACC and the original manufacturer. I'm not sure if that manufacturer is in the UK or some other countries, but the manufacturer would need to register, not the exporters, but you may be able to work with the manufacturers to help them register. Do you have to register every manufacturing facility if you use several ones? And is there space to do this? Lenny, maybe this one's for you.
Actually, only the factory that produce the products which will be sold to China need to register this GACC approval. Also, not every manufacturer, because you only use several of them, and only the one you use to producing foods to China needs the registration.
Yeah, the final products manufacturer needs to be registered with GACC, not the manufacturers of the ingredients.
Okay, thank you, Sunwei. Yeah, and this one's for Lenny too. Does the number need to be in any specific position on the packaging, for example, front or back of the pack? And are there any size or other marking requirements?
Okay, this one is kind of similar to what we have answered before. For the registration number, we talk about it should be labeled on both the inner and the outer packaging. So for the labeling on outer packaging, we think you can label it anywhere just to ensure it can be seen clearly. And for the inner one, you should follow the labeling standard for prepackaged food like the GB 7718. And for the position, we think you can label it together with the Chinese white label together with that one.
Thank you. Next one, I'll give it to you too, Lenny. This is from Dean. Will the new GACC regulation apply to food products already on shelf from January 1st, or will the new regulation only apply to new shipments entering custom from January 1st?
For the Decree 248, because it's mandatory, is January 1st, and at present, because the GACC has not released further implementation rules, and we think it will be released soon. So at present, we think only the products manufactured after January 1st will subject to the labeling requirements. But for the registration part, you need to obtain the registration before January 1st.
So you said that some products manufactured after January 1st.
Yeah, you need to label the product, to label the registration on the inner and outer packaging, and also and also stickers are not allowed for health food and special dietary foods. These will for the products manufactured after January 1st. But for manufacturers, you need to obtain this registration number before January 1st.
Okay, hope that's clear. Next question, we're a third-party frozen storage location looking to advertise exporting meat products and fishery products to China. Before applying for approval to export the products, do we need a link with a manufacturing company, or are we able to apply for general approval? Sunwei, I'm not sure if you can answer this.
Yeah, I think for the meat and the fish storage, you need to apply before the 1st January. You need to apply via 2 routes. So for meat products, you need to apply via the APHA, and then DEFRA will submit your dossiers to GACC. And fish for storing fish, you also need to apply separately through APHA, DEFRA, and GACC route. That's a current market access for the storage for meat and fish. For after next January, I think this same process will still be valid. And in addition to the same process, you could choose to use Decree 248 process for the 18 categories of products you need to apply, but also via the UK competent authorities.
Thank you, Sun-Wei. I realize we're hitting 6 o'clock or 9 or 10 o'clock, but there are just a few more questions. I think a lot of them will be generally interested by all. So feel free to stay on. We'll just wrap up these questions. Lenny, this question is for you, but I think we kind of lightly touched on this already. With shipment still on water, how long can we apply the registration number onto the sticker or the labeling? So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no problem. I think he's talking about how to apply the registration number, right? Generally speaking, at present, you can ship the products to the bonded warehouse, and there you the Chinese workers can help to stick the label. But we also know from the GACC authority, actually they do not want this mode. Our suggested if you export products later, it is not suggested to label the products in China. It's better to label it in UK. But if it already happened, you can still try this one.
Right. In the case that in some cases, if, for example, after January 1st, the shipment has already left UK, it's on water, but the products has no registration number. My understanding is that that is okay because it already left the UK port, and then it's on the water. It will enter China after January 1st. So is it okay for it to not have any registration number?
If the shipments have already left UK, yeah, yes. We think it's based on the manufacturing date, because if the we know this news from a reply from the GACC authorities, but they have not released this regulation. So it is said if the products manufactured after January 1st, so it's better for you to label the information in UK. But if your product has already been shipped to China, then you can label it in China.
Okay, thank you. One more question for both of you, I guess. Will GACC be releasing further implementation details? And if so, when can we expect this? Sun-Wei, do you have any idea? No?
No idea. I think maybe we'll see it. Yeah.
And one more question, will registration numbers be publicly available? My understanding is no, you will only be able to see your own registration number from your own account. Okay.
But the registration number will be labeled on the product, so I think
in that case, yes, of course, yeah, it will be available to all Chinese.
Yeah, but information will be a secret, right. Other information.
Another question is on when do you expect an English version to come out? I guess that's a big I don't know either. Okay, so one question on alcohol products. I think a lot of audience today will be from the sector. We are a supplier of alcoholic spirits, but we purchase the liquid in bulk, and then we bottle and pack the liquid to produce the final products. Does the distillery that produces the whiskey need to be registered, or us, the bottler?
The bottler, the final product manufacturer needs to be listed with GACC. not the distiller.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, our Chinese labeling on the product are being labeled in China, as mentioned by Lenny, that registration number needs to be in the packaging. I'm a little confused if this has to be done before shipping out. So Lenny, do you want to clarify that a little bit?
Yes, because as we just talked about this, it is still allowed to do so, but it may be not allowed in future. So it's better to label it in UK, but it's at present it is allowed to do so, to label it in China.
Right, we have I guess 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, so we'll quickly answer these and then we'll just wrap it up. So what is the located country registered number? Is it a company registration number? I think this question is about what UK registration number they need to provide. Sun-Wei, any guidance on that?
So when you register, self-register with the GACC Cipher website, so you try to use FSA or FSS number if you have it. If you don't have it, then you could either use your company house registration number or use your premise ID that local authority provides you with.
Okay, thank you. And one more question from Caroline. To clarify the previous question, if I export 2 SKUs and each SKU is manufactured in a different place, is there a space to include each different facility in the registration? Lenny, this one is for you.
Okay, if each SKU is manufactured in different place, so it means manufactured by 2 manufacturers, right? So the 2 manufacturers need to apply for the registration separately.
Okay, that's clear. Just to confirm, the registration number are for both bonded warehouse and domestic. I don't really understand this question.
There is actually 1 registration number if you apply for it, and you can label that one on your outer packaging and also the inner packaging, or for example on your product. Only 1 registration number.
Okay, yeah, I think yeah, that's about all the questions. And then this final question we have from Monica: would it be possible for you to answer all given questions in writing, please? We probably need to produce something like a FAQ sheet. We'll try to see if we have capacity to do that, Monica. But if you still have questions, do reach out to me or to Lenny or to Sun-Wei on a one-to-one basis. We'll assist you. So hopefully you find today's session helpful. Thank you very much, Lenny and Sun-Wei, for joining us, and thank you all for joining today's session. And like I said, if you still have questions, do reach out to us, and we'll be here to help you. So that's all, everyone. Have a nice day in the UK and have a nice evening, guys.
Bye.
Bye.